In this video, we'll be covering adding and subtracting surds. So just as you can only add or subtract like terms in algebra, you can only add or subtract like surds. This means that you may first need to express all your surds in their simplest forms before you can add them. So on your screen you can see two expressions. In the first one we have 3a plus 2b plus a. In the red are your like terms, so we can add them. So 3a plus a equals 4a. And then since 2b is not a like term, it's in a different color, it sits to the side separately. So your answer is 4a plus 2b. Now this is the same way adding and subtracting surds works. So in red we have our like terms again, 3 root 3 and then root 3. We can add them to get 4 root 3, and then the 2 root 2 is separate in blue because it is an unlike term and we can't add it to the root 3. So we're going to answer some questions now. So on your screen you can see 5 root 6 take away root 6. Now that's like saying we have 5 root 6's and we're taking away one of those root 6's. So we have 4 root 6 left over. In the next one we have 9 root 2 plus 3 root 2. So again, it's kind of like saying we have 9 root 2's and then we're adding 3 more of those on. So we now have 12 root 2's. Alright, so that's quite simple. Down here we have simplify the following. Now we're starting to add different terms in. Once you start seeing different surds like root 2 and root 3, I suggest underlining all your like terms. So in this case we have a root 3 and a root 3, and then over here we have a root 2. So my reds can be added or subtracted, but the blue won't. So the blue remains the same, 5 root 2. Then we have minus 4 minus 5, so minus 9 root 3, and that cannot be simplified any further, so that's it. Now next we have simplify the following again. This time we have root 20 minus root 80. So this is where you need to simplify your surds first and then look to add or subtract. So again, I like to have the two rows above so I can refer to them. So root 20, we need to find the biggest square number that goes into that. And in this case it's 4. So we will have root 4, root 5 minus root 16, because that's the biggest that goes into this, root 5. Now, most of the time, if you're given a simple surd such as the root 20 first, you can quite easily find 4 root 5. A trick here is to remember that usually these end up being the same. So the first thing you should test for is 80 divided by 5, which gets you 16, which is a square number. So I know it's going to be root 16, root 5. It's just a little trick to make it a little bit quicker. So now we need to simplify these further. So our root 4 becomes 2, root 5, and then 4, root 5. Because they're both root 5s, we can subtract these. So 2 take away 4 is negative 2 root 5. So remember, simplify it down first, and then you can do your adding or subtracting there. So to end the video, we'll just do a quick recap of what we covered. So remember, you can only add or subtract like terms in algebra, and it's the same with surds. You can only add or subtract like surds. They need to be the same surd. And you might need to simplify them down like we did in that last example, and then you can do the adding or subtracting.